Back at it again, guys. Hello, hello. 1st of October. We're here, man. We're here. We're here. You smell that? That's air coming into your lungs. The Lord Almighty has allowed us to see another day, and we have another opportunity to, as Haitians, right, or those concerned with Haiti, move the country forward, right? But first and foremost, before we can move the country forward, we gotta have a conversation. We gotta understand the circumstance, right? And so I'm glad that you guys have decided to come today to SeeJeanty and have that conversation, have that understanding, have that back and forth. And it's not just this guy looking at you through a webcam, which is, by the way, I repositioned it, by the way. Maybe I was a little too far from you guys. Let me bring it down. But the folks in the comments, the folks here who are watching, it's a back and forth. We're here to learn. We're here to have a conversation. So welcome. Per usual, though, I'm gonna have to throw you guys onto. I gotta get in the background because it's a one-man show on Sundays, and gotta get there's a few things I gotta get ready in the background. But I just wanted to get out here real quick, say good morning. If you're watching this after the fact, you can just go ahead, skip ahead 3-4 minutes to the meat and potatoes of the show. But for those who are watching live, this is an opportunity for you to share the video. It's an opportunity for you to grab some coffee, get comfortable. We're not going to spend too much time today. We don't have a guest. We're just going to be you and me chatting it up. And especially, we're going to be talking finally. A lot of folks have asked me, Chris, when are you going to talk about the Canal? You're going to deep dive on the Canal. How's that going to happen? When are you going to do it? Today's the Canal live episode. We got a lot of different things I want to show you guys. There's an interview as well. Well, I guess there is an interview. I guess a pre-recorded interview of one of the lead funding organizations who finally, by the way, I'm going to be able to provide a folks. Who do I donate to? What do I donate to? We're going to be able to provide that. I'm going to provide that this round. So stay tuned. We have a great episode at hand. And I think we might have a Dominican or two in the chat because, this is a very Dominican conversation. That's, and so then, it is what it is. They're welcome to. So, all right. So we'll be right back. And again, I'm really, really excited. It's going to be a really good show. All right. Yeah. And boom, we are back. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, IG. What else? Facebook, YouTube, IG, Twitter. Be on TikTok, but we're still working on getting that minimum count to be live. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The show started. I worked all those back end issues. Come on in. Come on in. Have a seat. Canal episode de finalement suno. It is finally on us here. Got a lot to talk about. We got Zubadu in the chat. What's up? We got Darlene Bryce asking a very pointed question. We're going to get to that conversational point. Just stay tuned. Have a seat. We're going to be talking about that and a lot more today. What's up to the IG fam? We got I am Santa Maria in the house. You know what I mean? And we're going to have a conversation. A Canal episode. Long awaited. Folks have been asking for it. You know, guys who are watching on YouTube, IG, the perspective have changed. I had to spice it up, get a little closer to you. I felt a little too far from you guys. I had to bring it down to conversational level. All right. We dropped a great episode on Kenya, by the way, FYI. Great episode on Kenya. That's folks have been telling me that it's been really getting them informed on the intervention that's coming. In fact, tomorrow it's supposed to be a very big vote. So ahead of that vote, that most likely it's going to happen. My understanding is this is not even formally a UN intervention, actually. And what I understand now, it's actually a non-UN force, apparently, is how they're getting around the fact that China and Russia are going to blockade it if they were to go to the proper UN channels. But in any case, go ahead and do check out the episode we just dropped. A lot of folks have told me it's been informative and helpful, especially it's really focused on the international perspective. And then you guys know what's going on, those who may not be in the know, all right? But in this episode, let me just hop on the usual top of the hour items per usual that we got to talk about. Et voilà, pour connaître, c'est que bon, peu de respect pour le langage créole là, c'est pas qu'il n'est pas qu'à utiliser nous pour toute émission, mais simplement et nous avons une mission pour nous faire le monde comprendre Haïti. Et pas cacher Dieu, il y a trop dans le moment que je parle avec vous là, il y a trop médias haïtiens. Comme dit ça clair. Il y a trop médias haïtiens. Chaque monde qui a un cell phone, man, you décide qu'il y a une équipe média, finir flâner, you joue un petit micro sur Amazon, you journaliste et finir faire reportage en Haïti et en dehors. Mais c'est bien ça que nous avons toutes sources qui a des opinions sur des affaires économiques, etc. Mais pour moi, c'est plus gros problème. Il y a assez de monde qui a expliqué du monde, non. Parce qu'il y a une propagande qui a fait depuis 1804 sur Haïtien, ok, qui dit c'est diable, nous manger monde, etc. Et nous moins que monde. Mais nous n'avons jamais un un message consistant qui a sorti, qui dit au contraire, nous c'est monde, au contraire, et complexité et qui existait dans le pays par existait dans pas nous tout. Et chemin pour avancer, c'est même gens dans le pays par il existe dans le pays par nous tout. J'aime un message comme ça qui construit du monde et c'est la raison qu'il du monde traite nous, gens traite nous. Et so pas fin fâché avec parce que me comprendre ça. Pas fin fâché avec parce que ou pensez que nous besoin l'autre centaines canaux médias qui existaient sur social media qui a bail même explication à même petite audience créole là dans le même moment nous avons Fox News nous oh excusez-moi pèse un bouton nous avons tout l'autre côté ça yo et Fox News CNN tout côté ça yo qui a bail perspective par yo OK et nous bagions on côté que moun qui a cherché vérité à une vérité c'est ça si gentil média on vérité pour nous OK c'est pas me connaît tout nous gain on culture tout qui pas bail créole la respect ça me 100% d'accord avec nous nous gain une culture pour des générations français monter sous coup créole là sur ça la raison que nous aussi défensive c'est donc on madame qui Marie a battu so ça veut dire n'importe les monde lever men madame a fait fête qui croit pour venir m'a dit nous clair c'est pas ça ça y est nous va battre madame Boris sous bossa nous remet créole nous gardons l'amour pour créole nous c'est ça qui connecte tout haïtien mais simplement messieurs et madame nous avons une mission là pour nous mettre lumière sous pays nous et nous faisons un langage international. L'anglais, c'est le langage, et même chinois, les russes, africains, espagnols, faut d'accord avec moi. Anglais, c'est le langage international et c'est la raison nous faisons. De la fâche avec si c'était français, me décider de me parler, parce qu'on teasing moun parler français. C'est pas français m'a parlé, c'est anglais m'a parlé pour tout le monde comprendre. OK? Et même haïtien tout, faut un bon haïtien. Yo gen une compréhension de anglais tout et yo pas perdu dans le discours. Okay? So voilà. Et per usual, just had to give a quick disclaimer. Much love and respect for Creole. But we do this because we have an international mission to enlighten and inform, and which is why we do it in the language that we do it. Okay, all right. Furthermore, Amazon, 100% Haitian brand is on Amazon. I'm gonna drop the link here, right here, right in the chat. Those who are interested, feel free. We have everything you see back here. You can see everything you see back here is available right now on Amazon. We got Gishela rice. We got a cassava. Okay, 100% c'est cassava qui sort direct. That's right out of Cap Haitian. We got Jonjo, top seller. I don't even need to promote this. This thing sells itself. I don't even need to promote this. Jonjo sells itself. It's a top seller. You can get it wherever you are. The excuse you cannot find quality Jonjo out of Haiti anymore. That excuse fini. That excuse is done. Find your quality Jonjo right there. And we got boule chocolat and boule chocolat. So everything you see back there is available on Amazon right now. So go ahead, go support. And as you know, it's coming out of Haiti. We're working closely with farmers, producers, manufacturers. And you should know that every purchase goes to support and do the fundamental aspect of economic sustainability, because it's supporting our own that will, in the true long run, is the only way out. There's only one way out of this cave, and that's supporting each other economically. And no matter where we are, no matter what our station is, that is the only way out of this malaise that we find ourselves in as Haitians. The book is out, by the way. The book is out. Just FYI, I got to remind you guys, SeeJeanty.com/shop. I just dropped the link in the chats, but those watching on IG right now, SeeJeanty.com/shop, SHOP. And you can get the book here that you see right back here, 101 Ways to Make Money in Haiti, Lucrative Business Ideas. insightful success stories and interesting business opportunities for visionary entrepreneurs. And this book isn't, listen, I know there's a lot of snake oil salesmen who, quote unquote, make books just as an entryway to buy their course, which is an entryway for you to buy their next course, which is an entryway to then enter their MLM program for you to go and bring other people in and get that ain't that. This ain't that. I ain't that. I ain't that guy. Listen, I'm an entrepreneur. You know, I had a one investment round, and now we close the doors. Unlike, I don't understand it. Listen, if you have somebody, let me give you a quick tip. If you have somebody telling you to invest in what they got going on, and this investment has been going on for years, run away. At some point, if that business ain't sustaining enough to where the income of that business can't be used to invest in itself, right? It's probably a Ponzi scheme. I just wanted to go quick sidebar. Okay, it's probably MLM, right? Run away. We ain't that here. We're on this side of the fence. What that is literally everything I know. Okay, and the people I've interviewed in my time in Haiti who have been running successful businesses, and even despite all the challenges you have right now, they're still running their businesses. Okay, it's on Amazon right now. Type 101 ways to make money in Haiti. You'll find it on Amazon. You can ebook it. You can get a hard copy, download it, read it, check it out, and that's it. There's no other step up to that. Check it out, buy it, read it, and use those strategies, use those ideas, use those concepts to maximize your chance of success in Haiti. Because at the end of the day, as I just mentioned, economic self-sustainability is our only way out in Haiti. And as many folks who can be successful, and as many folks who can return back to Haiti and be successful, it elevates our chance of being a successful country, being a successful people. And that's my contribution, my permanent contribution to the cause, right? No matter what's going to happen to me, you know, they can take me out. I can have an accident on the plane, quote unquote. You know, that's a little nod to the Ukraine guy, you know, that they took out on a quote unquote plane accident. But my book's still going to be here, right? And so do check that out and use it to your advantage, right? Those who are looking to support what we got going on here, a lot of folks do appreciate the show and would generally like to be a part of really a movement, right? Feel free, you know, be a part of the private WhatsApp group, which is on SeeJeanty.com/private WhatsApp group. Right, I just dropped the link in the chat. Feel free and join. It's a Patreon. It's a very minimal monthly fee. It goes to supporting the media team in Haiti, what we got going on here. Or, you know, this is a pretty expensive setup. It's really, you know, because of the contributions of Patreon that's allowed us to do it. Some of the conversation and topics we talk about here aren't necessarily the most algorithmic, is that a word? Friendly. And so Patreon is a way to really support what we got going on here. And it's not really a profit center for me, I tell you that much. It's really it's a way to subsidize a lot of the expenses that go on to making the content, especially when we're back in Haiti in the coming months. You know, and most importantly, we give a lot back. I'm in that channel. We have a lot of very smart, talented individuals in that channel, and it's an ecosystem to support each other and support what we got going on, right? And of course, hyperdistribution.com, that is the engine that drives a lot of the activities currently in Haiti. So do check it out. If you want to become a wholesaler, feel free. And it also provides a link to all the things we're exporting out of Haiti and the things you can go ahead and pick up online. Okay. So that's the top of our stuff. Appreciate you guys sticking around for that part. Now we get to jump in the conversation. But before I do, I just want to say a quick what's up. Let me jump in there. We got Patrick B in the house. What's up, Patrick? Just certainly appreciate you being in the chat, and thanks for ordering the book. Much appreciated. And those in IG right now being real shy. I got a shy audience here. A lot of wallflowers here in the chat. Nobody's saying nothing. But anyways, those watching right now, I want to say good morning to you. Welcome to the chat. The Canal. Ketman, I say Dominican or bad koyo comme ça for him. What's wrong with the Dominicans, man? Huh? And now when I say Dominicans, be assured I am not casting a wide brush saying every Dominican, this is not a Dominican bashing episode at all. I want to be very clear at what this is. When I say Dominican, I'm saying specifically the Dominican government, and maybe I'll try to as much as I can. Maybe I'll say DG. Say Dominican. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do to be very clear and be very delineative of what we're talking about, right? Because I can tell you a regrettable silent majority, all right? Because the nationalistic, and quite frankly, we're just going to call it what it is. We're not going to beat around the bush. Racist, smaller portion of the Dominican population are very vocal. They're very active. And regrettably, as you can see with Louis Abiner, I don't have enough respect for that guy to say his name right. I'm sorry. So I will be butchering his name. Okay. Louis Abiner very clearly has had an agenda for Haiti and Haitians from taking office, right? We're going to be talking about that, his history, his background, okay? But I want to be very clear that this energy is directed at that subset of people and the government, okay? The majority, the 60, 70% Dominicans, nothing but respect. We have Dominicans who I know here in South Florida, good friends. Have Dominicans that I do business with, quite frankly. We're a food and beverage distributor. A lot of our products go to markets in South Florida. And guess what, guys? And I can't speak. I think New York is probably the same way. Guess what? Guess who owns a good chunk of the markets? Right? It used to be the Cubans. Now it's the Dominicans. The Dominicans own a lot of food markets here. The better food markets here are owned by Dominicans. Okay. And the Dominicans sell a lot to Haitians. Okay. All right. And so in those Dominicans, I haven't seen in my conversations a particular animosity to Haitians, to be quite frank with you. Okay. What does that mean to me? And I visited the Dominican Republic. I want to be very clear with that too. I've been to Butacata. I've been to San Domingo. And most recently, I was in Puerto Plata, hung out with our good friend and a friend of the show, Philly D. Philly. No, is it Philly D? Philly. No. Philly Dom. Philly Dom. I said Philly D. Philly Dom. Philly Dom. Right. Good friend, friend of the show. Hung out with him while I was up there. Right. So I want to just be very clear asterisks. No issues with the Dominican people, but nothing but disdain for the Dominican government and the proportion of Dominicans who are indeed nationalistic. And you can be nationalistic. That's cool. That's fine. Heck, one can argue I'm nationalistic, right? You can argue that I'm nationalistic when it comes to Haiti, but I am not nationalistic. I am Dessalines nationalistic. What does that mean, right? I am nationalistic and supportive for everyone who supports us. And do I want to say this? Get my mo to anyone who's not. Okay. All right. I promise. If my mom's watching that, the last little Haitian course, what I'll say. Okay. Right. And I'm very clear on that side of the fence, just like Dessalines was. Dessalines didn't. The French very clearly weren't for us, and Dessalines was not. But yet he allowed the Polish, who were white-skinned, to be here. So what does that mean? Does it mean there is a racist agenda in what it means to be nationalistic? You can be for yourself and however the other person looks. You can accept them under the umbrella of that nationalistic idea. But when you look at DR, it's a very different. Their nationalism, unfortunately, at the same time, also means standing very firm and very much against Haiti and Haitians, right? So we're going to talk about that. There's so many angles to this conversation. There's the economic angle. There's a political history angle, right? But most importantly, we're gonna also bring in a conversation. I'll give you guys what it is, what it's gonna boil down to, which is a sneak preview of an episode we're preparing. We're preparing the Canal episode. I'm gonna give you guys a sneak preview of the interview of where I want you guys to donate your money. At the end of the day, that's a big point folks have been asking. Yo, Chris, I want to where I donate these funds to. And by the way, hats off to friend of the show, and really personal friend at this point, Dr. Bertude, who has been on the front lines in Haiti and doing, quite frankly, what I would be doing if it wasn't for the fact I recently had a beautiful baby girl born, 6.9 pounds, sweetheart. I mean, she is just, everyone who has a baby is probably knows and thinks this, but I'm gonna say it anyways. The cutest baby in the world. Okay, and so which is why I've been more in the States, probably more than I have been ever, in the past couple of years, because of that. And which is why I'm still here. In fact, the reason why the show started late was taking care of the firstborn and the secondborn, right? So a recent 1-year-old and another baby. And so that's kept me out of Haiti right now, because regrettably, I love my country, but family has to come first. You got to prioritize what has to be prioritized. Family has to come first. But so Bertrude has basically been doing what I know I would be doing if I could, which I'd be at the Canal, giving live reports, and most importantly, being a junction point for funds and ensuring those funds get spent the right way, right? So hats off, Dr. Bertrude. In fact, I don't know if Dr. Bertrude still has her link online, but do consider donating something. But also, we're going to provide an alternative. There's someone on the ground who we've interviewed. We're going to provide some glimpses of that interview, and at the end of it, we're going to go ahead and provide you the link of how to provide your contribution, which I've already set up to provide around $200 every other week to the cause until the cause is done. So I'm not just giving one time; I'm giving weekly to the cause. You understand? So but you do what you got. What you guys do what you guys can do. I know things are tight. Inflation, fun bunaru, bunda no, right? So do what you guys can, right? But so let's just start at the beginning. All right, let's start at the beginning. Okay. And really quick, we'll say, what's up to Joffrey Pierre, John Telisma. We got Mega in the house, right? And we got Marcus the Best. What's up, guys? And we'll get to your comments. I will get to your comments, I promise. So let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. Okay. So the Canal was a gem in the eyes of many folks in the Wannaman area. Okay. In the plains just north of Wannaman for quite some time, right? That area and that region has suffered by unstable water flows for quite some time, right? It has a river system already and a dam system river already, but because of factors that we're aware of, deforestation and just an unpredictable climate, some years rains come in and they flood and it's almost too much rain, but they're able to get their crops watered naturally. But many a year, the crops go dry. Many a year, they don't receive the rain they need to, right? And the simple solution is there needs to be a statewide irrigation system that can get water from the local river, which I believe is called the Pierre, or the we're going to pull up a Google Maps, by the way. We're going to be geolocating things. In fact, let's not even wait to do that. Let's pull up the Google Maps right now. I think a lot of you guys may not even know what the region we're talking about is, and I think it's important that as we talk about these things, you guys, and by the way, if you guys are watching the IG, regrettably, you're not going to see some of these things here. So I do apologize. Do go we're on YouTube right now. If you're watching on IG, We're on YouTube right now. YouTube, same thing. SeeJeanty, SeeJeanty. Feel free, hop on the live stream. You'll be able to see some of the things I'm going to be presenting. All right. Let me pull this up here. Let me pull this up here. Google Maps. Pull this out. Zoom this in. All right. Now we're sharing. We are sharing. Now, guys are looking at. You guys should be seeing the map of Haiti and of course the border. Right. You see that there, right? And so what we're talking about, we're going to zoom in over here. Okay, we're going to zoom in over here. All right. And along this border here, you see Jabon over here, right? On this border, coming at the very top, right? Jabon, and then of course you see Wadamet, right? And so the reason we're talking about is this area right here, Fierier. So Fierier has a river system, right? River La Marie and River Jassa. So technically, when we're talking about the plains, we're talking about this region really around here. If you see where my mouse is, this whole entire area from Ferrier, between Pêche, between Auger, right, Pioyou, right, but with a specific focus on this area right here to Le Chat, right, because at the end of the day, really, this canal is going to be cutting. So basically, if I zoom in along the border here, ooh, my back, I got a scratch on the back here. Oh, ouch. I'm not flexible. Excuse me, guys. Ooh, I got a scratch on my, I got to keep a back scratch around. Gosh. Ugh. All right. I think that should do it. So we have right this point right here along the border, right? And you can see very clearly, if you were to follow to the river around here, right? It goes into our territory for a few miles, right? Before just really being the border. I mean, the border is basically delineated here. And it's really since the Treaty of 1929. We're going to talk about that, Treaty of 1929, where a good chunk of the quote unquote Jabon River, aka the Massacre River, depending on who you are, how you want to call it, has served as a border point for a good chunk of what we consider a delineation between the Dominican Republic and Haiti, right? But in this point right here, if I'm going to go right here, right, this is basically where the canal is being built, right here, right? And it's going to keep going north, north, north. And the goal really is to join, you see this river right here, guys? River Jassa. The goal really is to connect from this point further up, is to connect from here to there and provide the Massacre River the capacity to join into this river. And that's where you guys, man, if this canal is going to go here, how's it going to ultimately water all this area? And that's because this river already has some canals, formal, informal, right? There is already some junction points here that are quote unquote watering some of the plains in this area right here, right? But the situation is that this river hasn't been as productive over the years, and this river is particularly dependent upon rainfalls, right? The connection that's going to happen here is really going to function as an important junction point to reinforce the river flow of the River Jassa, right? And then, of course, the plain area that it supports throughout this region. So again, when I say Le Chat, I really do mean, this whole area, is really has the capacity to be reinforced through that system that already exists, right? And there's also dams. There's a dam system as well that has not received maintenance, which is the second tier plan for a lot of the folks on the ground looking for what's next, right? That's gonna be reinforced. So you guys can see now what we're talking about here. We're talking about a canal that's being started right here and going further up, right? And so this canal started in 2013. Really is when I could say an active movement occurred to try to get it to happen, right? Folks organized, got the ear of the president at the time, which was Michel Martelly, to engage in providing the area support, irrigation support, right? And talks and analysis started. To be clear, analysis started, okay, on the potentiality of the canal back in 2013. And from around 2014, 2015, 2016, around that time, a formal study occurred, land survey, impact study, engineering plans were drafted since 2013, right? 2018 is when they broke ground on the canal. 2018, the actual work started in 2018. So from 2013, when it became, folks lobbied successfully for it. It's been under analysis, right? And so a lot of folks who want to sit and tell you, oh, this is something that's, it's overnight, it's not safe, it's not studied. Listen, you're going to tell me something that's been studied for somewhere 3 to 4 years prior to it being executed, right? On international standards, it was not done correctly, right? So the argument that you may hear, right, that this is not something to stand. In fact, folks have visited, I've shared privately, and I guess I can probably try to find that for the live stream, where engineers have visited the work that's been done, the portion of the canal that's been done, and they've attested that it's been done to the international standards of construction of a canal. It's been done, right? So whoever is expressing that this is being done overnight without the proper process of, étude, as you would say in Creole, it is a bald-faced lie. And quite frankly, what's what I'm looking for? Offensive. Thank you, brain, for showing up. Offensive, right? Because they're trying to make it seem as if because it's Haitian, because it's Black, it is automatically not done the standard, right? And so anyone making that argument is because they're willfully neglecting the fact that we've had a period, and this is indeed engineer backed. Okay, so 2018, it finally breaks ground. It breaks ground, and the person who breaks that ground is Jovenel Moise. He, at the time, as president, had the capacity, the willpower to get the canal going, right? Even then, excuse me, the work started. Well, it started on one level with President Moise, but then some of the first initial work as well was done by a Cuban firm by the name of, I get your name in a minute, Dinava, right? And they would begin a good chunk of that work as well, right? And they also were a big part of ensuring that the work will be done per international standards, right? And so the work started, right? And then would restart in 2021. There was a pause, right? But then would restart in 2021. And by the way, when I say 2018, Jovenel was a part of it. Jovenel was a part of it in the sense that he lent equipment out to the folks to do it, because at the time, between Agitron being what it was and having the equipment on the ground, he was in a unique position to provide components to, right, to the job being done, right. In addition to Dinava being on the ground and starting the work, so they collaborated very closely. And then in 2021, the work was restarted, right. In fact, one of the bigger incidents was in April 26th. April 26th, we had really the first inflammation of Dominican Republic, aggravating the situation, right? And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But since 2021, the work would restart, and they would make progress. It would make progress. It would be stopped, regrettably, for a brief period when the Dominican DG, remember we call them DG, the Dominican government, encroached and actually sent their military, crossed into Haitian territory. Right, this was big news. This was unfortunately not as big news as it should have been, because at the time, between the protests and the folks trying to get Jovenel out, it kind of got muddled in the news cycle, right? But the the Dominican military actually came in, menaced the workers, but the work didn't stop, right? Within a short period of time between April and May, effectively a committee, a council came together. Part of it was Dominican, part of it was Haitian. For example, the governor Jabon was a part of this committee. We had a Haitian minister, also part of that committee. We had technicians, part of that committee. We had civil society members on both sides, part of the committee, right? And around May, right, this commission came out. In May 2021. Remember, we started 2013. Work started 2018. Work restarted in 2021. Okay, you follow. Just make sure you guys are following along, right? Because we're just throwing dates out. I want to make sure you guys are following along. And so finally in May, from the time we're in April, where the Dominicans started being very menacing, in May, a joint council of Dominicans and Haitians came together and said that, you know what, this canal, it's actually, number one, did not constitute a diversion of the Massacre River. This is the exact language used in this report. All right, did not constitute a diversion of the Massacre River, right? And said that they would work together to have a very, we already had a technical group working on the canal, let's be clear, but a technical group that also constituted of Dominicans, so they could feel slightly more rest assured that this project was going to be done per whatever crazy story they told themselves to give us problems, right? And the work continued. And so from May onward, the work continued until, unfortunately, about 2 or 3 months later, Jovenel Moïse was assassinated. Okay? And the work stopped. And so from 2021, the work stopped. Okay? From 2021, the work stopped. Okay? 2 seasons went by, 2 years went by. In 2 years, you had at least 2, 3, 4 planting seasons went by. And the farmers had a very rough time. The farmers had a situation where they were losing, entire seasons, planting seasons, because of drought, because what they knew the canal was going to do and could have done, it didn't get completed. Rain didn't happen, and farmers were suffering. So after about 2 seasons of this, 2 seasons where literally they lost, farmers in the area literally lost their entire crop yield. They said enough was enough. Some of the organizers who from 2013 who started this movement in the area said, you know what, we're not going to wait for the government, right? I think they did something very rare that Haitians, I wish we did more, which was we didn't wait around for a new government, a new quote unquote mystical Messiah leader to come in. We didn't beg and plead some international country or body. We didn't wait for some intervention. Most importantly, we didn't go around and sit around and blame anybody. We didn't say, it was the Dominicans. We didn't say it was the bourgeoisie. We didn't say it was the mulattoes standing on our necks. We didn't say neg Pétionville, right? What happened? The civil society individuals, this is about 2023, mid-2023, earlier this year, said, all right, this needs to be done. They put meetings together, all right? And multiple people in that area, some folks gave 100,000 good, other folks gave 2,500 good, put money in the pot to buy the initial material. A lot of material just sitting there, the initial material, ensure that there was a budget for food for folks. And guess what? They said they were just going to do the work. Now, is it slightly sad that we have a situation where the people are doing the state's work? Listen, it is what it is. I mean, we can sit and moan and bemoan what should be, what coulda, woulda, woulda, what coulda, woulda, woulda. But the reality is Haiti isn't going to change if we're just waiting around for, a state, and we're not going to waste time trying to fight and change a state that has for almost 200 years shown us that those who get to that point of power are those who ultimately have no will, conviction, motivation, ambition, desire to help the country as a whole versus vis-a-vis helping those who got them in power and are helping themselves. They put money together and they started doing work. August 30, they rebroke ground. August 30 of this year, they rebroke ground and started redoing the work, right? In about 4 or 5 days, the word spread that, work was happening. But most importantly, as you can, what really got the word out was when the Dominicans, for some reason, even though we had an agreement in place, okay, from the May 2021 Accord. And by the way, guess who was president at the time? Our good friend, Louis Abinader, okay, our good friend. He was president at the time. He was aware of the Accord. For some reason, decided that, you know what? It was not for some reason. We have reasons why he's doing this, and we're going to talk about that, okay? Decided that he's going to use this for his own political gain. He was going to use this and aggravate this to the point where we are now. But in so much of him aggravating this situation, okay, he also gave virality to the situation and brought more and more Haitians, this to the attention of more and more Haitians, right? In addition to, forget the Dominicans. This was just something that, listen, we've been fatigingly, I make a lot of words up here. Webster should pay me. I'm making up so many words that should exist. Webster should pay me. Okay, right? To the point where things have been so exasperating, in our country, that this is the first time really since, honestly, I want to say, whenever there's a new election, whether or not you like who won, right, there is a degree of hope that we're going into a period with this, whoever the new president is, that it's going to be beneficial for those in the country, out the country, And I can say this is the first time, honestly, since 2017 that I saw more than that. I saw not just a timid hopefulness, which is really the most I've experienced nationally as a group of people, but an ecstatic determination that we got something positive and we're going to latch on to it and we're going to push it forward. We're going to make it happen, right? So independent of the pression that the opposition of Dominicans, it just by ourselves, it already started getting viral, right? But then once the Dominicans stood in front of it and said they do not, I mean, heck, they went to the UN to say, yeah, we'll talk, but the first condition is they stop doing work. What? That's not going to be the first condition, son. You're not going to go in with your first condition just to talk, equaling that your desired outcome. That's not how talks work, my friend. That's not how that works, right? So independent of the opposition of DR, this has been an incredible movement of solidarity that I can, anyone with eyes, anyone who's Haitian can appreciate, right? By the way, we are going to be doing an episode on this, so do watch out for it. I'm just giving you guys sort of a preview today on our lives to talk about it and give you a chance to talk in person, live in real time on this topic, right? And so that's quite frankly where we are right now today. From 2013 to 2018 to 2021 to 2023, that's the rough timeline of how things progressed to where we are now, where the border has been closed. Dominicans are hurting more than we are. They're hurting a lot more than we are. Okay, because listen, the Dominicans don't understand. The Dominican government doesn't understand. There's something called paylock. What is paylock? Paylock is literally Haitians embargoing ourselves. Literally. We are used to depriving ourselves the very things that they're depriving us. And we're used to doing it longer than what we know the Dominicans can do to us. So I don't know. I know for sure the Dominicans have no idea who we are because they would not have wasted time hurting themselves, right? Because we've seen images. We've seen those images of fruits and eggs and tons of merchandise going bad on the border. So they don't realize that Haitians are very much accustomed to this scenario that we're in. So we're gonna be okay, right? I check up on your producers, your companies over there who, are they gonna make it out this season right now? I don't know. So we're in a situation right now that I think from an economic perspective, I'm hearing a lot of talk. I'm not necessarily seeing a lot, but although I did see a recent boat that landed in what was it? Was it Okai? I want to say Okai. It was not Jeremy. It was Okai. Of a boat that I believe was either from Venezuela or Cuba. Of the first amount of transport that was going to be happening of merchandise, right? So I have seen one instance of that so far, right? Whether that was fake news or not, I don't know. But a lot of talks about doing more trade with Jamaica, a lot more talks of doing more trade with Cuba, doing a lot more trades with Venezuela, Colombia. We're hearing Panama. We're hearing a lot more talks about doing trade with other countries consistently and permanently severing that line from the Dominican Republic. So I don't know if Louis Abidjan is going to outlast this situation, because apparently, again, let's talk about, because I want to kind of move past the Dominican Republic. I really do. I do not want this conversation to be a Dominican Republic conversation. I really don't. So I want to pull this Band-Aid off. Let's talk about DR, their motivations for this, rip that Band-Aid off, and then I want to throw it in the trash. I don't want to keep talking about this. I want to be talking about them. This is a pro-Haiti movement. This is a pro-development movement. This is a movement of empowerment for us. And the Dominicans are trying to, quite frankly, override the conversation, override this movement, and make it about them. And so I don't want them to be successful and have that be a part of what the stream is about. So let's just quickly talk about this and we'll move on. Okay, let's go. There's an election happening. Quimba, There's an election happening in the Dominican Republic. Unfortunately, race sells. Unfortunately, division sells. Unfortunately, them against us sells. It makes us move. Human beings, we are pre-programmed, okay, to identify us, identify them, and be for us and be against them. I want to be clear. And I identify that amongst, and this is true for Haitians, this is true for Dominicans, it's true for every race on the planet. The easiest thing on the planet isn't to go on television and say, listen, this is, education, we've increased test scores of our students in our country by 88%. It was 88%, and now it's 90% success graduation rate. It's not as sexy to talk about economic gains, right? Our GDP is increased from 1.2% to 2.5% under my tenure, right? Because at the end of the day, for those folks most downtrodden, they don't feel, right, frankly, I've talked about this before, GDP and the count of GDP is really just a measure of how rich people are doing. We've talked about this in the past. GDP is strictly that. And I haven't, those who don't know, who may be new to the stream, I have an economics background, undergrad, graduate. I have a slight inclination, used to teach it at the collegiate level. So I'm being humble when I say I have a slight inclination of what I'm talking about when it comes to certain economic elements, concepts. GDP is a measure of how rich people are doing in your country. And so going on air and saying, well, our GDP and our croissance, our growth rate has increased by 2%. It doesn't really matter, because that very seldomly does that trickle down, and very slowly does it trickle down to the masses, right? And so that's not very popular to talk about. It's not. You can go on TV and say, well, our mortality rate has dropped down from 10% to 5%. All these, and I'm mentioning these things because these are things that matter. These are the things that a government needs to be focused on, right? And a good government, you'll see education improve. You see economic progress for all people. You'll see the health outcomes of the country improve. You'll see infrastructure improve. You'll see external investments from other peoples and other countries improve. You'll see the agricultural output. I mean, under recently, I just had the article presented to me. But DR, for the first time in its history, I believe, now does not import rice. It does not import rice. It produces so much rice in this country now. It does not need to import rice anymore. That's a big deal. Here's the problem. It's not as sexy. It's not as galvanizing to go on TV and talk about all these progresses, all these things that you've done. And this is true for any country, by the way, just FYI. This is true for any country, okay? The United States, Canada, Mexico. It doesn't pull the views in, son. Like, let's talk about just YouTube. Let's talk about social media. What brings in the views? Listen, a lot of folks critique SeeJeanty Media. SeeJeanty, you're doing God's work. You're doing good stuff. Man, you should have 100,000 subscribers and 100,000 views. What's going on? Because I'm not talking triple tie. I'm not talking zin. We're talking about substance, right? We're talking about, and I appreciate, I have a fantastic audience that we do have. 24,000 plus subscribers, consistent views across the stuff we put out, especially when we're in Haiti. I'm, most of our videos where we're really showing, awesome economic activity, we're getting 40, 50, 60. So I'm not saying we don't get what we need to be getting, but we're certainly not triple tat. You know what I mean? We're not Mr. Beast, right? Mr. Beast isn't doing what we're doing. I'm saying all this for you guys to understand the Dominican government and Louis Abineur He is doing something extremely calculated to win re-election. Period, point blank. His administration, well, during the time of his administration, DR has made incredible gains in multiple facets of their society, but that's not sexy enough to talk about, especially given that they've had issues. They've had inflation happening, inflation that's been skyrocketing. They've had criminality skyrocket. And by the way, before any Dominican in this chat goes over to the Haitian, the statistics say Dominicans do more crime against other Dominicans by a staggering amount, statistically. Okay? Let's be very clear on that. Very clear. They have an issue of criminality happening on their island. They have an issue of a massive inflation. And they have an issue of wages not keeping up. There's a growing inequality gap in their country, right? And there is and not to mention the corruption, there is strong corruption. So there's a lot of emotion happening, bubbling in the society of the Dominican Republic that does not bode well for our good friend Louis Abinah. Let's be clear. And whether or not he's going to win was a question mark. So what's the easiest thing to do? I just built all this up. I built this up to bring it home right here, which is, well, let's do what Trump does. It's worked for him. Let's do what every individual interested in just holding on to power rather than talking about substance and making that substance a motivational point. Let's just take the easy win. And here we go. Oh, Haitians are doing something on our border. Let's go. Let's ramp it up. Let's send our military over there. Let's say that they're going to abuse this resource. Let's say it's going to affect our farmers and our people. Let's continue to ramp up the language to the point where we are now, which is, quite frankly, well, it doesn't seem that they're going to, or they don't have the cojones to do what they really want to do. This is the Dominican government, which is actually send troops in and break this up, because they know the consequences of what it's going to be. I mean, already the United States earlier this year, or was it last year, cut off one of the Dominican Republic's top exports, which is sugar, because of the abuses that the Dominican sugar industry has been doing to Haitians, right? Which is a big blow for them. So they know the consequences of being particularly heinous, right? So what are they doing instead now? I'm literally, before coming on air here, I'm watching video of the Dominican government with Bacaluder and a bunch of activity. They started a canal, apparently, just literally on the other side. If I go back on the map here, right? If I go back on the map here, like literally, so there's the border, and so literally just about around here, like right across the border, like in visual eyesight of the work happening on our side, they are doing another canal. And even that, it's not even, ours is just literally, it's a flow path, and some of the water is going to flow into the canal, and most of it, 99% of it, is going to continue on and flow down the river, right? They're actually going to install a pump. They're going to put a pump in the water to force even more water to flow into their 12th or 13th canal right across from ours. C'est pas méchant, man. Mon cher, whoa, negio méchant. Negio méchant. I gotta, faut m'exprimer en créole, man. Parce que, il va y avoir un jour où dit ça en anglais, man. Negio méchant. Negio méchant. Oui. Negio méchant. Oh. Wow. Negio méchant. Heartless. vicious, uncaring, unsympathetic, unempathetic, monstrous, not right, inhuman. So many synonyms. Excuse me, I had to collect myself. To go out your way to activate and build another canal, literally in visual distance to a canal, our very first canal that we absolutely need to water a plain area that's been hit with multiple seasons of drought, and we've lost multiple seasons of crop yield, right? Louis Aberdeen, let's be very clear, is doing this for votes, to galvanize his base, and to win. And regrettably, the real sad stuff, it's working. I've read recent reports that have him upwards of, certainly holding the majority right now, for his presidential race, above 50%. Where before he started doing this, it was a bigger question mark in the situation. Currently, he's well above 50%. He's gonna win. When he wins, is that gonna mean he can get off the gas and leave us alone? I don't know. It's gonna set a clear precedent for any other president coming, that if he was able to win doing this, let's up the ante, and let's even go more anti-Haitian, right? Because if it worked for him, it'll probably work for us, right? So if he does win, even if he can't run for re-election, and even if he were to somehow, in some reason, let all this go, right? It sets a precedent to say, oh, if I need to win an election in Dominican Republic as a Dominican politician, I need to go all in with anti-Haitian sentiment, and I'll win the presidency. I think that's as much as I want to talk about the Dominican Republic. It's really fatiguing, and this is not what we do here in SeeJeanty. We don't sit here and point fingers, but this is very clearly a situation that is you've never seen this much antagonizing from an exterior state as you see here. It's a lot more covert, a lot more under the table, but in this case, it's right above table, right above board. We're all seeing it. Anyone with eyes, anyone with ears, right? So that's it. All right, boom. Dominican stuff done. We're done. We're not revisiting that. Okay. And I'm sure my Dominican friends are the bat signal has been alerted. Somewhere they have an algorithm that exists that they hear Dominican being talked about, and they're gonna flood the chat. Let them flood the chat. I recommend you guys not to be baited by the Dominicans in the chat. These are, remember I talked about a segment, a very small segment of extremely racist, extremely misguided, misinformed people, right? They exist online predominantly. And I would advise you guys not to engage with them in the chat. And of course, if I see them, especially being vitriolic, I will block them in the chat. We aren't here to spend our time and energy. So I just advise you guys in the chat, let's keep the conversation constructive and focused on where we're going today. Okay. All right. So, let's put a slightly bigger context of it. And then probably the last thing I do want to talk about, it's not really about them, but what treaties, what do we have in place, right? And how are we engaging in that element, right? We have a treaty in 1929, right? And I'm gonna find what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for the language, right? In the language of the 1929 treaty with the Dominican Republic, the Treaty of Peace, Friendship, and Arbitration, February 20, 1929, clearly says, due to the fact of due to the fact, hold on, give me a second. Actually, there's a bigger convention that Haiti is a part of, which is the 1997 United Nations Convention on the situation where when two states are on the border, share a resource. Basically, put two countries that have to act as adults and respect each other's right to access it without affecting the other. Right? Both DR and Haiti are part of this convention, and then but one that's specific to the Jabon River, which is the 1929 treaty, which was revised, has been revised different times, and revised specifically for the Jabon Massacre River, right? And it says very clearly, due to the fact that rivers and other water courses originating in territory of one of the two states cross the territory of the other or serve as their limits, the two high contracting parties undertake not to make either consent to any work likely to change the natural course of these waters to alter the water flow. These provisions cannot be interpreted to deprive either state of the right to use. Okay, this is very important. The provision cannot be interpreted to deprive either of the two states the right to use in a just and equitable manner within the limits of their respective territories the said rivers and other water courses for the purposes of watering of land and other agricultural or industrial purposes. Okay. Remember, guys, in May of 2023, or sorry, 2021, both the Dominicans and the Haitians gave a joint statement saying that this river, after conversation and presenting of the research that was done, was not going to divert the water flow. So what are we talking about in 2023? What are we talking about right now? What are we talking about? You, as a Dominican, gave a statement. We have a treaty in place that clearly gives language of what the conditions are. You came out and said under his administration that we weren't doing it in 2021. What has changed? When the paysans are following the plans, and the engineers that were involved are still involved in what's happening right now. So I just wanted to give that context before we truly move on. Just have that last important context of the situation of the Massacre River, and the agreements we have in place, and the fact that we're now violating those agreements. Okay, all right. We talked about it. We talked about a lot of some of them were the really important elements. Let me take a sip of this water as I make sure I look at some of the big points to talk about here, right? I mean, quite frankly, really, the last big chunk I want to talk about is just what we've seen. Amongst ourselves, really take a deep dive on what we've seen. We've had hundreds of thousands of dollars raised. We've had both publicly and not publicly, folks contribute to the canal. We've had virality and different social media players providing, their input in terms of Fokana Labati, right? We had a lot of social mediaists or YouTubers, I guess you can say, the mix of the both too. Actually going to the canal, I have friends of the show, Abed JL, friend of the show, Bertude, friend of the show, what's her name? Also similarly went to visit. I'm gonna get her name real quick. I gotta give her a shout out for. I gotta watch her episode. I didn't know it came out. It's been on my to-do list to watch that episode. Man, I don't know why she not come up here. But a friend of the show. Well, I'll just say this: a lot of folks have gone Wilkins Toussaint as well. I know he's been at the border. And I tell you what, just FYI, I'm going to be in Haiti before the end of the year. And it wasn't in my plans originally, but I am going to faire un coup de pied. I'm going to faire un coup de pied. I am going to take a quick trip to the border as well, one way or another, to also do my part. And so we've had a lot of folks who have use their platform. A lot of artists too. We've seen a lot of artists, showing solidarity. I mean, recently Wyclef at a concert, I think it was maybe even 2 days ago, gave a very important shout out to the folks working in the entire social movement behind the canal, right? So a lot of respect, a lot of respect. And I think, just to speak on that, I think it's, as I alluded to in the beginning here, we have not seen it, and I think there's still a degree of caution because we're so used to, I mean, look what happened. Look what happened to, Rudy. Thank you. Hey guys, help me out. Rudy B. That was who I was looking for. Rudy B, friend of the show. Great episode. I haven't watched it, but today I'm gonna watch it. Lost my train of thought. Darn it, rarely do I lose my train of thought. But we're gonna be out there. We're gonna highlight it, and I think more than anything, with the social movement, train of thought back on track. I think there's a lot of caution when it comes to these sort of things because, let's look at the earthquake, right? When we look at the earthquake, we look at, the billions of dollars that was provided and what happened, and so little actually got done, right? And so little actually went to the people and to the folks on the ground. But I think we have to recognize, right? Wyclef did give a portion. If you go on his page, you'll see what he said. I think what's very important for us to appreciate, what makes this different, is that this isn't the Red Cross. This isn't an NGO. This isn't, and quite frankly, this is what makes this so difficult to give to as well. I think let's be honest, those sort of organizations make it real easy to give, right? Here's a Zelle, here's a Cash App, give, right? But what's different is this is an organic movement. It's an organic movement amongst interested individuals on the ground in that area who are in desperate need. Okay. Who are in desperate need, who started to do the work, and folks saw the work and also started to contribute as much as they could, right? And so I know there's a degree of consternation in terms of who, should I give? Those who say, should I give, understand what makes this different. Now, who to give to? I know a lot of folks have been asking. Chris, we get it. Right? You're an hour and 20 minutes into this. We get it. This is different. It's needed. It's new. But who do we give to? Who do we give to? Right? Let's talk about that. I've been very slow. Been very, very slow in terms of providing or resharing information of who's receiving money, because this movement is just too important to get it wrong. All right. I've seen other social media personalities. We won't name them. We won't name them. Apparently it's Everybody's suing everybody for defamation and winning. So I don't got it like that. You know, with my bank account set up, I don't got it like that to fight defamation. So we ain't going there. I mean, we ain't naming no names. But what we will say is, I've seen resharing of folks to give to, and when I inquiry a little bit more, just to say, hey, how do we know this is really? They can't. Oh well, I don't know. A friend of a friend gave it to me, and I thought it would be good to pass it. Like, whoa, this is too important for you to just very freely give out But the thing is, the catch-22 of what makes this unique is also what makes this so difficult, in the sense that, again, it isn't some multi-conglomerate organization, some large international organization, right? That is saying that they're going to go help. It's folks on the ground, right? And who do you give on the ground? If there isn't necessarily a face to this. There isn't necessarily one individual with one organization pushing this, right? And so, wanting to prevent this situation from occurring, of me resharing something to later finding out that this person or this individual isn't. I've been in conversation with several different people. In fact, every time I did get someone who said, "Oh, this person's reputable and this person is a danger," et cetera, et cetera. Not danger, sorry. I said danger. If a person is of help or can be of favor. I think that's probably the word I was looking for. Of favor. And by the way, guys, those of you guys who watch these lives, I stumble. I word fart. Right? The Kenya video recently, I said something very stupid, which was, Kenya is very much East Africa. We all know this. Infographic I put was East Africa. Okay. For some reason, I used the other East. I was seeing East in my head, but in my mouth said the other East, which was West. Dudes were frying me in the comments to go do your research. Kenya's in East Africa. Bro, I know, man. Relax, man. Damn. It was a mistake that we didn't catch in post-production. I had to cut it out. You guys can go watch the video now. You won't find that mistake. I cut that out. You can do. Luckily, YouTube allows you to do, even when it's streamed up, you can see. You can make cuts. Man, yeah, if you want to get into social media on YouTube, don't. You guys cannot be thick-skinned. I tell you what, the comments will roast you for the slightest mistake, which wasn't a slight. It was a big mistake. I must say. Shame on me for not finding it, but in any case, it's fixed. That quick tangent. I interviewed a lot of different individuals, and spoke with them one-on-one, phone calls, video chat. Felt them out individually, tried to get to know them as much as I could. In addition to, I had them send different proofs of patents and, examples of what they've done in the past, work they've done in the past, to try to understand who they were, what they were, and how serious they were. And out of those conversations, one group in particular stood out to me. And that was FOI, F-O-I, a FOS. I'm gonna give you the name. I don't want to mess up on their acronym. So I'm gonna give you the name. Unlike Louis Abidner, I do care about the pronunciation on this one. Yeah, FOS. Organisé et inclusive. Force organisée et inclusive. Okay, FOI. I think you guys have probably seen members of this organization. They usually wear hard hats with FOI on. If you've been watching this, they've had at least one engineer I've seen repeatedly, give interviews on the work and the fact that they've been auditing the work and keeping ensuring that the work is in tune with what was written from the 2013, 2014, 2015 period of analysis and work planning. I've been in contact with one of their leaders, a fellow by the name of Antoine Claude. And of course, multiple conversations. And in fact, there was a special group that was created where the work that they were doing, I was a part of this group. I was seeing daily, the different things that this group was doing. And I use this expression a lot. One of my favorite expressions, maybe. I like to measure once, cut twice. Right? I like to measure twice, cut once. Did I say it right the first time? Okay. If I did, that's what I meant to say. I measure twice, cut once. Right? And so, and this has been at least 3-4 weeks now, I believe. I've been going back and forth. And so I can say with a lot of confidence, at the end of the day, I am not that person. All right. I'm not, that's not a funny guy. Because in a way I am funny because I've already given multiple amounts. In fact, I gave first just to kind of see what that was, how that was. I wanted to go first. I wanted to, if there was an issue, right, I wanted to experience that issue before you guys did. So I gave, 2-3 weeks ago, I gave to this organization, right? I've also given the Dr. Bertrand, but also gave that organization, right? And just to kind of see what's going on, just kind of see. Right before I brought it to you guys, my audience, to provide, right, and that went well. And I want to say FOI is an organization. By the way, the organization that they were from 2013. They've been involved from 2013. They didn't just show up during all this. They didn't just show up and hey, we're here to help and give us money. No, they've been one of the original organizations from 2013 pushing for the canal. Because they've been doing other works in the area previously, and have really taken a lead role. But there's 3-4 other organizations as well. But they're taking a lead role in getting things done. Meaning, if you do provide a donation to this organization, all right, it will be harnessed and used to its maximum, and it will go to the people on the ground. All right. What I want to do is actually I want to jump ahead to what we're going to show in the coming week. And actually parts of the interview, I want you guys to listen, right? Okay. I want you guys to listen to some of the points of the conversation. Before I do, I want to drop the donation. Like, all right, Chris, great. Chris, finally, give us a place and a way to donate, right? And so let me do that. Should have this pre-prepared, so excuse me. As I go ahead and grab that information for you guys. And the process is going to be, and how I've provided, it's a bit, again, and unfortunately, something like this, it's not going to be as easy as pulling out your phone, getting out an app, and giving through Zelle and Cash App. This is, again, you're working with an actual organization in Haiti, okay? Meaning, Haiti isn't part of PayPal, unfortunately. Let me be present. The very first thing I will do is have us international call, get PayPal, or whatever change we got to do to our financial system to allow PayPal to function, right? Or create our own, right? To allow us to accept international payments easily and conveniently, right? But we're not there. So the way you're going to have to provide will be by going to a money transfer place in your local area. And if you're Haitian, your chances are you do live close to some CAM transfer, Uni transfer, but also Western Union. Western Union is everywhere. So there's no excuse for Western Union, not to be able to say, oh, it's far, I don't have anyone near me. There's a Western Union near you, right? Go to a money transfer spot. I'm going to give you the bank account number to deposit the money into. And the bank account is the bank account of FOI, of FOI, right? It is the bank account of FOI, right? And also I'm going to give you the contact information of Antoine Claude. You can message directly, you can rescreen him. Okay, screen him. Have a conversation with him. You can rescreen him. I don't. I've been talking to him in Creole. I don't really recall his. I don't know. His English is understandable. All right. But I've been having conversations with him in Creole. You can rescreen him until you're comfortable enough to give. But I can tell you, I've screened the hell out of him, and to a point where I feel confident enough to provide his information. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and drop that information. I'm going to put his name here, Antoine Claude, okay, of Foy, okay. And I'll type that into just so you guys have that. Foy organisé. I already forgot. Force organisée pour inclusive. It inclusive. Right. Put his name there, and then I'm going to go ahead and type in the account number. I'm gonna put money transfer to bank account, and then we're gonna go and drop that bank account in there. It's a BUH bank account, by the way. A BUH bank account, by the way. Boom. And also, let me go ahead and include Claude Antoine. And by the way, he welcomes any folks who want a message, right? And rescreen, right? Boom. Not too long. Let's see. Boom. So I just dropped that. Guys, feel free and go ahead and I stand behind this. You can give to Foy. I'll put that on screen right there. I'll leave it on screen for just a minute. Okay. Those who are watching right now, please go to this is so important. In fact, I'll do something. I'll go ahead and move this and allow you guys to kind of see this real quick, and you guys can grab a pen and paper. Excuse me. And write that down. Those who are on IG right now, you can see that information right there. I'll give you guys a minute to grab that information, right? And again, I stand behind this. You guys, I listen. If I'm telling you something, no, I listen. I'm putting my name on the line here, right? And I understand how important my name is. I don't really what people call me. I don't care. I don't know how important my name is, and because of that, I took over a month to vet out the best person for this, and here is that information right there, Antoine Claude, and rest assured that money is going to go. And we've talked, Claude and I, we've talked where he is putting in place a system where things will be transparency is a priority, and a system is going to be put in place. A system is going to be put in place to provide that transparency, right? And let me try to fix this where it was. I think it was about here. Yeah. Right. And so, do reach out. Again, the process is you go physically to, a Western Union, a money transfer, and then provide that bank account number, and there'll be a slight fee. The state's going to still take $1.50 from it. Western Union's going to take a few dollars from it, right? But then, the rest will go to that bank account, of which they will provide food, material, iron, all the things that, and paying the salaries of some of the security people there too. They even give a little bit of money to the folks so they can buy a second meal later in the day. They actually provide the first meal, but then the second meal provide a little bit of money so they can go and buy, food, before they can, for the next, for the evening. And so, I can assure you as much as I can without physically going there. I've done as much as I could to vet this out. I stand behind Antoine Claude. I stand behind Foy. And I'm going to continue to give them money, right? Until I hear something different, until I experience something concerning. If I do hear something different, and I do experience something concerning, I promise you, I will. Shit, I got to cut this whole segment out. I will, where I recommend them, and then I will put an announcement out that says, here's what happened. Don't give it to them. But until then, just know I stand behind them, and I'm going to continue to give. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, I want to just very quickly kind of go through and let Antoine Claude. I want you guys to introduce Antoine, learn who Antoine Claude is, and let him speak about himself, Foy, and what's been happening in his own words. Right. I'm gonna try to skip around a little bit.
Et Claude Antoine, moi j'ai aussi au nom Beyoncé de qui c'est vrai dans la communauté côté ma vivre là. Moi je vis là depuis que moi fait jusqu'à présent moi toujours vivre là. Moi pour j'aime faire plus que 6 mois de dans vie moins de communauté la Caïman. Ça veut dire que ma j'ai parti dans vie moins c'est la Caïman moins passé dans mi temps communauté la Caïman, amis, famille, condisciple moins et puis étudiant pareil moins.
So he's gonna be talking, and I'm gonna jump around certain parts. This is the raw footage, by the way, because we're actually going to be using this footage for the actual episode that's upcoming. But I just want to give you guys, an experience of him talking directly. I'm gonna skip around where there's some points where I'm giving him comments about, where he's standing and the fact that it's not really too clear. He's gonna move to someplace that's a lot better. But I just want to hear that part where he talks about himself and mentions himself. And then let me jump ahead here where he starts talking about Foy, the organization itself. Okay. Let's see if I can, if it allows me to. Let's see if it allows me to skip ahead easily. If it allows me to skip ahead easily, bear with me. I'm trying to jump ahead here.
Oui, il a fait
And I know the sound's off, by the way, guys. I know the sound's off, FYI. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to jump ahead to where I wanted to, but it doesn't seem as if. Let me remove this and re-upload it, and hopefully it allows me to do it. Otherwise, there's another way I can do it. Let me do it that way. Actually, let me do it that way. I know what I'm gonna do. I know what I'm gonna do. Let me do it. Let me share it another way. That will allow me to move around freely the way I want to. All right, so bear with me here. Because doing it that way wasn't being particularly friendly. Bear with me, guys. There we go. Okay, and let me share my screen with you guys, and we will get this very important part of the show on the road. There we go. Boom. All right, much better, guys. And I should be able to a lot more easily jump around. Okay.
Okay. Il y en a parler des fois, qui j'en nous commencer, pour qui ça nous commencer, et tout des succès que nous joignent, des projets que nous finissons, compléter, tout ça.
By the way, it's in Creole, FYI, it's in Creole. I'll try to give, translate what he says from time to time. Okay.
Okay. Et FOA, c'est une association qui prend naissance dans la commune Ferrier, dans la date qui était 7 décembre 2019, légalement. C'est-à-dire des papiers reconnus par la mairie, par le ministère des Affaires sociales, par la DGI, pour lesquels nous avons fait patente normalement. Mais avant ça, elle était existé de manière informelle. Les autres que nous avons formés, nous-mêmes dans la communauté ferroviaire, c'est parce que nous-mêmes, par rapport à la formation que nous gagnons, par rapport à l'égalité avec en pile secteur national là, nous avons une opportunité, nous côté par l'autre association, par l'autre organisation, et puis, par exemple, passer mal dans la communauté. Et nous avons dit que si nous gagnons, nous sommes quatre qui nous dans la communauté, nous sommes jeunes, nous sommes gens qui nous avons dit que nous allons créer une structure pour que nous mettons les jeunes là à 90%, et puis nous prenons 10% et les gens qui agissent avec nous pour l'expérience, nous avons arrivé ici avec Ebaresa. C'est comme ça que nous-mêmes, Chita, dans la date qui était 7 décembre 2019, nous avons décidé, et puis statut chef association, et puis nous avons déposé dans le cahier notaire, nous avons notifié ensuite de faire qui des droits, et puis nous n'avons pas tout le net dans la communauté. Du même coup, en 2020, nous avons postulé dans une activité, dans un projet, et dans mon second, parce que la vie a une plus forte, je ne sais pas ce côté mieux.
Ok, bah,
So let me jump ahead a little bit to when you reach launches. I think this is where we went back and forth a little bit here, trying to get him into a spot that was a little more clear, so you guys can see his face more consistently. So I think this is that point here.
Pour l'autre association, qui va y avoir mal passé, nous avons décidé, nous avons quitté 7 décembre 2019, nous chita, nous de statut normal, et puis nous déposer dans la mairie, dans l'affaire sociale, et puis nous aller dans l'IGI, peut-être pareil, nous normal, qu'on y a là, à partir de là, en 2020, nous avons postulé dans un projet avec DGCL, nous avons réussi bien chance, et puis 2021, nous avons postulé dans un projet avec NUD, nous avons réussi dans le projet, mais peut-être dit que nous avons tous côté dans le projet, et puis nous avons retenu un système dans la zone, c'est-à-dire que nous avons rebalancé le projet encore, nous avons passé encore à l'étude, et puis nous avons déposé le projet encore. C'est que en 2022, nous avons déposé le projet et encore en mois de mai, et puis enfin, nous avons parmi toi, c'est des étapes pour bénéficier d'une subvention de 2 millions de gouttes. Nous-mêmes, nous avons mis troisième, et puis nous avons balancé le projet. Nous avons une deuxième, là, ça, nous avons.
So here he's talking about different projects they've won, their history, the fact that they were founded because they were using other international organizations that at the end of the day weren't producing and weren't yielding real impact. And so they created their own. And since then they've been part of different things, USAID, Digicel, different organizations where they've shown their project and they've gotten far. In the Digicel, they got second place. And in some cases with USAID, they did get certain projects to do in addition to just the day-to-day fundamental work that they were founded to do, which was cleaning up of certain agricultural areas, the cleaning up of or the maintenance of certain elements like a dam that you'll mention this once I skip ahead. And so again, this is an organization that's been doing real work for a long time. Right? It isn't a fly-by-night organization.
C'est-à-dire que nous sommes avec nous, nous avons fait des cliniques mobiles en santé animale, pour lesquelles nous avons passé dans plusieurs habitations, et puis gratis, par l'argent, nous avons nos services.
Here they're talking about how one of the programs they did was veterinary services for because we understand the meat industry in Haiti is very informal. from the cabrit that's killed, from the cows that are killed and then served and that you eat when you're in the country. And so one of the big things that we're doing, actually going to, and again, the Ministry of Agriculture doesn't do anything it's supposed to. So they're actually going and making sure these animals are healthy and providing veterinary services, right? So another element that they're part of. Let me jump ahead.
Et puis c'est pour ça que nous-mêmes, nous avons une intervention. Pour bien ça, à partir du mois de février 2023, pour lequel nous devons réaménager un petit fait de façon archaïque. Et comment on fait, c'est même été fait avec sac qui ont été remplis avec terre, ou bien sable, et puis des piquettes en bois qui ont été piquées pour immobiliser ça. Et puis,
here you talk about another project that was done in Akari, all right? Come jump ahead there. Let me jump ahead a little further, about 2 minutes up. And by the way, I'm going to publish this whole interview sometime between this week and next week. We're going to publish the whole interview. Obviously, we'll cut out, some of the back and forth of repositioning, but we're going to, so those who really want to listen to his whole entire dialogue, which is very, very informative, it's going to be available to you guys to watch.
Dans le mois de juillet, il y a des bagages à et puis, nous avons perdu le côté encore, bagages à c'est pour ça qu'il est revenu encore. En fait, on a une réunion communautaire avec eux, on a marché communal communauté février, et puis nous tous, planifié avec eux, nous dit qu'il est 30 août, c'était le mercredi, nous parlons monter, nous ne parlons pas dans le tirage, nous ne parlons pas dans le nettoyage, nous parlons directement dans l'abcéa ou dans la maladie, et puis nous parlons percer ce canal-là, le sang. Mais en samedi qui était précédé, vendredi et mercredi qui était 30 ans, dans les reports de point, c'était un canal qui était fait, peut-être que pasteur Marco a mené un groupe chrétien pour les bandits, bandits qui tuent en pile et dans eux. Et puis, quand il y a là, Dominique qui ont dit nous, si nous venons dans le canal là, et il y a fait nos plus mal que ça a été fait pour le Westin et pour le Westin. C'est comme ça, il y a un groupe nègre qui est sorti férié, à pied, à bécane, à moto, à cheval, sur millette, sur bourrique, avec nous, machette, rache, couteau, et pelle, pique, pioche, puis nous monter. Mais quand l'homme l'a pris dans la pile, il y a des gens qui va prendre en balle, puis qui va blesser grave. Il y a des moyens pour qu'il y ait des soins médicaux, c'est nous qui pouvons dégager pour nous sortir de ça. Et puis, nous-mêmes, si nous victimes, peut-être qu'il y a une famille ou bien alliée, nous avons arrivé pour capable de venir et nous soins, et puis nous te prendre le devant. C'est pour ça que nous sommes arrivés dans le travail là, comme troisième, nous sommes arrivés dans le travail là, à 6h30 du matin.
Here he's talking about how the fact that, as I mentioned in everything we talked about so far, the farmers lost multiple crop yields. It's been tough for them, etc. And a meeting was done amongst many of the farmers in the region, and they decided this kind of had to happen. And they were part of that reunion. And so I was talking about how, August 30th, the conditions of which, how they came together. They said everything they had in their hands, buckets, machetes, shovels, just everybody contributing whatever material they had. And they met early morning at the Canal construction point and just started to work. And by the way, apparently the Dominicans heard about this happening even then. And even then, they passed the message to say, hey, to these workers, hey, whatever you think you guys are going to do, don't think you're going to do it, because you will be menaced, right? And he said that, right? But they said, I bet, go ahead and try. And they still move forward with their plans. And then they use their phones to actually spread the word that they were doing the work.
Nous avons quelque part, puis après comment ça va marcher. Et puis c'est comme ça, à 8h15 environ, nous avions 10 équipes qui ne pas perdre danger, nous avons démarré, et puis après là, et puis nous avons commencé à piquer, normalement. L'autre communauté gardée, il y aurait été pas bien, et réplication qui était bien tirée sur le chantier. Tout le monde a été mis les mains dans le travail là, c'est comme ça que nous avons démarré le travail là. Nous avons fait 10 heures, puisqu'il va bien manger dans non, mais nous, tout le monde était commencé à casser. Et c'était moi-même, dans mon foie, qui était gagné cash dans le moment. Et puis nous avons acheté 45 manger et toujours, pour nous être capable de manger toujours. Et puis, nous avons l'autre dramaturge qui était dans l'activité, qui c'est initiateur mouvement en tout, qui était fait de marche, et même de chercher du riz pour l'huile, charbon, et puis nous avons une fille qui était avec nous, qui avait fait manger, c'est comme ça que nous avons mangé pendant le premier jour, et puis, avec volonté que nous avons gagné, avec un engouement, et qui était motivé par le fait que nous avons perdu jardin pendant 2 reprises, pendant cette année, et puis nous avons arrivé et percé, canal là sur une longueur de 40 mètres de longueur, et puis, une largeur de 3 mètres, une profondeur de 3,50 mètres premier jour là. Et puis, deuxième jour, nous avons tourné encore avec le même théâtre. Parce à plus, nous sommes venus. Et puis, nous avons continué de travailler le canal là. Et puis, nous avons le canal là à niveau que nous avons besoin. Et selon le niveau de l'eau à gagner, dans une rivière là.
So he's saying, just talking about how, the work started, and just literally that first few couple of days, it was just the folks there, including himself and the organization, that provided, the food, and whatever else that was needed. And despite the fear of what could have happened, and from there on, it's been just lights on, right, moving forward. I think the only other part I want to show, I wanted to show him talking about himself, him talking about Foy, talking about the early days of him starting. But the only other thing I want to try to find where they're talking about what's next, right? Because I asked him straight up. I said, all right, cool, we get this done, and the canal's done. What's going to happen next? Especially if there's some money left over. What's the bigger vision? Because at the end of the day, as we all know, Haitians will come together to do something, good or bad. It's always been the what's next that's been really the slow point for us as a people, as a group, right? And so I'm gonna skip around a little bit. I want to find exactly, I think it's around here where he's talking about is really, I want you guys to hear this. It's really important to hear this. What the sort of bigger picture action is, and how they've already started to organize for the maintenance and upkeep of the canal, right? Let me try to find it.
Avec support Monsayo, si nous arrivons, le canal là lui-même, c'est la totale qui est bétonnée. Si nous avons un moyen économique pour nous bétonner tout le canal là, ça fait nous plus bien et plus. Et l'autre bagaille encore tout, pendant qu'il a fait ce canal là, il faut que nous ayons moyen pour nous capable tout avec tirage à tout. Tirage lui-même, nous avons fait des façons avec main. Là, ça a besoin de manger et vous avez capable de faire. Et puis, l'espace là qui c'est parti qui est important, qui c'est le village là qui a fait sourire vers ce là. Et même, quand vous le commandez, vous pouvez faire avec main, il fait avec pelle mécanique. C'est-à-dire, pelle mécanique lui-même, on connaît, après ça va consommer un peu de gaz par jour. Mais par exemple, nous avons une briquette de un côté, mais il faut qu'il y ait plus de gaz pour capable fonctionner, pour capable bailler le service que nous avons besoin. Et ainsi, enfin, nous pour nous faire canal secondaire pour que nous arrivions à passer le monde.
Bagaille et Claude est vraiment intéressant et ça veut toujours qu'on insiste pourquoi pour toutes les raisons ça sont cité là et les dépenses qui est très important et pas seulement pour matériaux mais manger c'est pas qui
right. So that I think that part I was asking what was the donations going to be used for exactly. Yeah, I think that's what I was saying, but let me try to find
5 OK.
Réalisation. Mais nous faisons faisceau, mais ça va empêcher qu'il des fois nous agir de manière individuelle. Parce que il y a des gens qui, puisque on est
c'est ça qui est là, aussi supplément à recevoir ou à pouvoir
déjà avec ça idée.
OK.
Personne qui fait un dépôt en groupe
pas cadeau.
Oui, pas qui c'est plus avec ce que nous dépôt comme une idée et qui est faite dans les derniers jours là après plus de 10 siècles, c'est la première fois que Haïti a une cause commune.
Et tout, il y a perdu travailleurs, il y a plus loin toujours. Et effectuer ça, c'est pas
passer le mec dans la bagaille et ça, faire politique, et le contraire,
on force, on l'ordre.
Qu'est-ce que ça lui-même, la pour maintenance. Sur le canal, la pour
nous, qui est maintenance, qui est loi propre, et avec tout Haïti.
I found it, guys. I found it. I know I was close. I put 56 originally. It's around the 50th first minute.
Mais tout, il y a un risque pour faire et saleté, quand on dans l'emploi, pour nous battre l'État. Comme je ne peux pas voir l'État qui apprend et responsabilité, parce que beaucoup de gens tout le temps qui m'a rentré sur Haïti. Et ce qui plan nous gagne pour nous-mêmes, pour nous képer et pour l'organisation ça qui nous gagne là, pour nous képer maintenant, képer loi propre et assurer fatra, assurer discipline moun yo et qui ça nous gagne pour nous, qui ça nous pensé de ça.
Oui. Mais ça que nous gagne en perspective. L'homme qui est nous, c'est pour faire un entretien et pardon. Au niveau des gens qui sont usagers de l'eau, des gens qui ont bénéficié de l'eau, parce qu'ils font jardin avec de l'eau, les gens qui n'ont pas récolte, ils ont une contribution qui en caisse. Caisse ça lui-même, la pour maintenance. Sur le canal, la pour éviter tout, il y a des fatra, et puis des déchets, on a jeté bagaille sur le canal, on a bien des agents qui nous ont engagés pour ça, donc c'est ça qui déjà commencé avec nous. Et c'est un périmètre qui canal là lui-même lié. On a un engagement formel sur le canal là.
So the question I asked was straight up, like, what's the maintenance plan? And again, how do you keep trash out of there? How do we keep, it clean? First response, the first piece of this is the fact that they are going to ensure that, they have folks who are hired specifically to clean the canal, okay? Throughout the entire, upstream points, they're going to have folks with that as their job, is to, with a stick, whatever it is, get trash out of the canal. All right?
Je travaille encore tout le monde qui nous connaît. C'est pas seulement faire canal là et puis on finit. Non. Canal là, c'était pour un focal là, pour bailler de l'eau, comme c'est source qui peut alimenter pleine. Mais en aval, il y a un travail qui doit faire toujours et qui plus que ça même. C'est que vous pouvez arroser ou bien pour émettre en valeur 5 000 hectares de terre minimum. On connaît qu'il y a des canaux secondaires. Si il y a un qui est là déjà, il faut que nous réaménagions. Si vous avez même, il faut que nous fouillions des canaux secondaires. Et rivière, c'est rivière principale qui a alimenté toute pleine. Il faut qu'il y ait ça même tout, il reprofiler. À savoir que pour nous refouiller encore, pour nous bailler bordure, pour nous tirer ces diments qui accumulent là-dedans pendant plus de 50 ans, depuis ce divarié qui rivière, ça les mêmes était bagaille. C'est-à-dire que ce bagaille qui est, c'est pas seulement le canal là, puis nous finissons enfin, non. Si que la communauté haïtienne qui est dans la diaspora ou bien qui est en Haïti a supporté l'activité, on a supporté dans 3 étapes. On a supporté dans l'étape, ce canal là qui est principal sous côté de la sortir, qui nous faut que souris qu'on y a là. 2, nous avons fait un curage dans le canal là qui c'est 2000 mètres et environ. 3, nous avons fait préparation en aval, côté que nous allons faire distribution de l'eau sur parcelles, sur zone, à travers des canaux secondaires. Et puis, pour nous capables de faire en sorte que toute terre et nos positions pour capable de de l'eau et de l'eau à venir.
So that part I just wanted you guys to see real quick before I, just say make sure you're subscribed, notifications on, because we have this interview. We have actually we condensed this interview. We're going to be dropping that early next week. And then we have the actual episode where we're breaking down the canal, just like we kind of did, but shorter, crisper, to the point. And then we're going to drop the full-length interview afterwards of this here. So that's all coming one after another. So make sure you're subscribed. But I just wanted you guys to meet Antoine Claude. His information is still below on YouTube there. I wanted you guys to meet him, put a face to his name, hear him in his own words as he describes the canal, the work, his organization, and when what it's taken to get to this point. You even heard a little bit about what was going to be done with the money, and then most importantly what's going to be done after the fact, right? So hopefully that puts you guys a little more at ease with excuse me here, we'll maybe get cut off here. Let me turn this off. That should not be how we're connected online. We should be connected direct. All right. And just to put in his own words, and the thing is, it was important. I had to do it pre-recorded because the internet. I would have preferred to do it a live conversation, right, where we're talking, and then you guys I could have right away forwarded questions. But the internet is so unstable in Haiti, especially where they are. And when I met, there was no guarantee that we would have had a good experience, So, so that's Antoine Claude. right? And again, I finally have delivered what you guys were waiting for, right? Is the info, which is right there. Let me, we are approaching the end of the cast here, and I think we had a fantastic conversation, but I do want to go ahead and read some of the comments. I promised you guys that. And so I'm gonna go first now through, YouTube. I'm gonna skim through and see what you guys were asking. And by the way, do toss some more questions. I wanna go through as much as I can, before we move on. So let's see. Let's go through it. John Talisman, appreciate it. Thank you, brother. Saying I hadn't seen the broadcast in a while. We have Mega here saying, hope I will the family. Wow, your thoughts on Monisikola? Yeah, I want to visit. It's a great town. I heard a lot of good things about it. We have a friend of the show, Cloud 14, actually. Cloud 14, who's, in fact, I've promised him, did I promise him this year? Maybe I think I did promise him this year that I was going to visit and do a series of in the more St. Nicolas area, but I don't think it's going to happen with given the kids. So I'm going to have to change the promised date to next year. Heard a lot of good things about that. You know what? It was funny. So yours truly out. I remember you did a canal project in Students to Suit. It breaks my heart. I reached out to our good friend Mayor. The mayor, I'm terrible with names. A good friend, the mayor. I wanted him to actually do. By the way, I did an update episode where I went to the canal and it was done. It was like literally just the entry point of the river that just needed a little bit of touch up, but it was done. I did an update video to that, but I wanted to bring him on because I think he uniquely understands the work of a canal. And the good it could do, and I'm gonna still try. In fact, after this live, I'm gonna try to message him one more time to see if we can coordinate him being on a Sunday, because I think he can provide a very unique, interesting perspective in terms of what it takes to, build a real canal. Obviously, it's not the same thing. His canal is more of a water channel, so water coming from the mountains when it rains. Doesn't inundate the city below it, so it can just find a way directly into the ocean. So it's a little different, but it's still a useful exercise, I think, of the power. Again, and what's interesting about the Sailors to Suit is the same thing, where, yeah, he's the mayor, but the mayor typically depends on money from the state, the federal government, to do work in Haiti. Unfortunately, we don't have it like in America where, communes have 100% autonomy with the money they could collect. Even the money they could collect formally still goes to the national tax office, and then the parliament is supposed to decide on, and then the tax office then redistributes those funds, right? And so waiting for funds to come. Today we still wouldn't have a canal in St. Louis du Sud, but they throughout just private funding were able to, and donations were able to get that canal done. And one of the things I've been extremely proud of was the fact that over $10,000 plus was donated exclusively from the SeeJeanty audience. Right, you guys watching gave $10,000 plus to the canal, and that to me, that is when, quite frankly, I became a believer of y'all. I speak so highly of my audience and the power of my audience compared to others, because of that, right? And so, anyways, I'm gonna try to get them on for sure. I'm gonna skip some of the lot of Dominican Republic stuff. I don't, as I promised you, this is not a Dominican Republic episode. It's about the canal, the empowerment, understanding the greater implications, right? My boy Johnny, Light Nigga Cigar. What country of cigar is that from? I'm a cigar smoker myself. Let me know what you would recommend. Jumping ahead again, I appreciate the comments, but good amount of Dominican stuff here. I'm just trying to skip ahead. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I hear you, Marcus. I certainly, it's important. We gotta, as Africans, gotta be able to be self-sustainable, right? And despite, it was so funny too. I'll put this comment up. What's so funny too is whenever we express the difficulties we face, and this is when I say we, I'm using the universal we for Black people. Maybe Black people in America, Black people in Africa. The first response of any true line racist and nationalist is, y'all need to stop complaining. Y'all need to just shut up about it and just work. Y'all keep complaining. But here we are, not complaining. Here we are actually working and doing what we got to do. And folks you have another country going out their way to menace us, right? We're doing our own thing. We're over here. We're doing our own thing. And we have a country going out their way to menace us. Okay, all right. Let me keep it going. Let's see. Yeah, James Lubin does. I hope that the energy continues. Certainly, I agree with you. I certainly agree with you. Let's see. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense to do more trade with other countries, right? DR will be all right, for sure. All right. Permanent alliance, Pan-African. We need to trade anyone and everyone, right? I certainly would welcome the idea of we doing more trade with Africa. That would be just appropriate given our background, right? Just going through here, looking through. Again, I appreciate everyone who's dropped a comment. I like this comment here by a guys, saying, hey, Haitians have proven they don't need to rely on the government to move forward. Yes, they should, but our government's incompetent, complicit in most problems in Haiti. Totally agree. And one day we're gonna do what needs to happen. And what needs to happen, the people need to regain control of our government. Point blank, we're gonna do incredible progress without the government. And we're gonna keep fighting and doing incredible progress. But the progress we could do if the government was controlled and working for the people, it would be light years more productive. And so just know we're not naive enough to say never. But one of these days we must regain control of the Haitian government. The Haitian government must be run by people who finally have the interest of the Haitian people at its core, not a group of elites, not a group of internationals, but the Haitian people. And I promise you guys, it's gonna happen before we go to Mars. Before AI takes over the world, we're gonna see a Haiti that functions for Haitians. Mark my words. If enough of us will it, want it, the universe must respond. I know I sound a little corny right now, but I'm dead ass. All right, and we're gonna make it happen. And also, we actually work towards it too, right? And this canal might be a very first important domino to get us to that direction. Okay. I'm just reading through the comments here. This is interesting. Leonard Fernandez was beating the polls. Yeah. This is when I was talking about what Abner had to do to get to the point where he is now, which is above the polls, right? And choosing Haiti to bash Haiti and the project we're working on, right? Let's see. I appreciate the response. Just going through here. Right. I don't know the engineer behind it. I don't think so. I don't think we got the resource. I mean, it's possible. It's probably technically possible. We don't got those resources. We don't got the pumps, right? That I can respond to, right? Yeah, certainly agree with you there, LM. Certainly agree with you there. Let's see what we got going on. Name the YouTuber speaking part. I think I did, right? I think I did. Abed JL has multiple lives where he was over there at the Canal. Rudy B has an episode where she visited. Bertrude on her social media, Instagram and TikTok, has multiple reels and posts about what's happening on the border, and even a bunch of folks I've never heard of. The typical mediaist, Haitian mediaist online, the triple eyes level of organizations. I've seen a lot of publications and shots of them live on the border. So, I think they're out there. But start with I think probably a good place to start. Start Abed JL, ABED JL is a good place to start for you, David, to see a lot of the work that's been done. Okay. Listen. If you want to, folks who still want to go in DR and spend their money, God bless you. I mean, I don't know how you're convincing yourself you're doing, especially if you're Haitian. God bless you, buddy. I mean, I don't. Yeah, yes, I've said I visited, but would I visit now, especially under Louis Abner? I mean, maybe under a different president who doesn't allow, the racists of the country to have their way. I'm not saying never say never. I don't hold grudges against the Dominican people. I want to be very clear. But I do dislike what the current government's doing, and I would not go and spend $1 under this current administration. So straight up. So I agree with you, Johnny Blaze. Totally agree with you. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the different stuff that's going to happen. La Tanere Dam is another thing that's going to be worked on. So I think everything you just mentioned here, Ellen, after this canal is done, these are what's next. This is what's next. Okay. All right. And that is all the big comments I want to read that are specifically directable to me and not necessarily DR related. And let's go through IG real quick. Oh, by the way, guys, I do have something else going on later with the Haitian United. I am going to be on a live about 7 p.m. EST. I'll try to share it across when I get on. I'll try to share the link on my Facebook, and also I'll try to share it on my IG stories. And so if you're watching, then you guys can participate. There's going to be a very interesting conversation about, once again, what we're talking about here, but more of a panel. So I am going to be a part. Thanks for reminding me that I have that going on later. I'm just going through IG here, seeing there are probably locations. Yeah, we can definitely build additional canals, especially the way DR doing this. Let's match. If they got DR has 12 canals, let's do 12 canals. If they want 13, we'll do 13. Let's make it happen. It's fair and equitable. Fair and equitable. That's what the treaty we signed. And if they got 13 canals, we should have 13 canals. Straight up. If they want us to have less, they should have less. Straight up. You know what I mean? What are you excited about next year in Haiti? Are they doing? Of course, they probably, and they've been doing dinner and blunts every year. What I'm most excited. I'm hoping that the insecurity has lessened slightly. Still not lessened to a point where it's anywhere than what it was in even 2017, 2018 when I was back in Haiti and doing and going through Matissan at 11 o'clock at night by myself in a car. So I'm not, is Haiti going to get to that point again next year? I don't know, but I certainly am optimistic that we're gonna be less insecure, and and at the end of the day, this intervention force, which seems to is very green light means go in terms of the determination of the international community to get international force out there instead of, you know, supporting our army, supporting our police to be able to allow us to solve the issue ourselves. You know, we'll see what that does. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, you know, I'm not going to express what I want to express right now. I will allow what is going to happen and a comment on it after. That's what I'll say. That's how I want to approach this. But that whatever may happen could also lead to a decrease in the insecurity. Okay. So, you know, I think next year is going to be a better year overall compared to the many years, the years we've had in the past. I think this next year will be better. We got 509 Lion. What's up, 509 Lion in the house? Where do you stand on the intervention? I've expressed that. I dropped a video on this on the SeeJeanty just yesterday, where we do a deep dive on the intervention. We talk about Kenya. We talk about the players. So do check it out, 509 Lion, if you haven't checked it out yet. And towards the end, I proposed a way forward that is different from what is trying to be proposed to us, which is reinforcing our police, reinforcing our army. All right. And I think that is the way we should go, a way that we're building up our own capacity rather than depending on others, because dependency is never going to change the country. It just isn't. So yeah, that's my stance. And so do check out that episode if you haven't had a chance to watch it yet. All right. Good to hear that your family's okay. Aim one love. Good to hear that they're okay. All right. Boom. So I think with decisions, origins, Katya's I'm gonna say Citria comment, I think that's where we're gonna end it. Been streaming for 2 hours now. That's not even the longest show, by the way. We had streams 3+ hours, man. And heck, listen, it's not hard to talk. It's not, you know, I've professed. I've been a professor at the collegiate level, and I've had classes that are, especially on a very short condensed semester. There's full semesters you can teach, and there's like semester A, semester B, which is literally half a semester. Like instead of 12 weeks, you have 6 weeks to teach a course, but you still have to teach the same material, right? And so literally, instead of a course lasting hour and a half, 2 hours, it goes on to 3.5 hours or 4 hours. So this is a muscle that is well exercised, being able to talk about an important topic that I've researched for hours and hours and hours. I've done it. So talking for 2 hours, take one. Easiest thing in the world. Look, the real MVPs are y'all dudes who've been watching for 2.5 hours. I mean, y'all the real MVPs. You understand me? I always give respect to y'all. You know, that's the hard thing to do. Sitting in this day and age of TikTok and 15-second, you know, consumables. The folks who've been on this, and I know who's been on this from the beginning of the stream to now. You guys are the real MVPs. So we're gonna end it there. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this. We really broke down a lot of really important topics. I appreciate your comments. I hope I answered and enlightened to a lot of the folks who responded. I think if a lot of folks gained from just other folks commenting and everything. Here's what we do here at SeeJeanty. We're a space, we're a safe space to be able to talk about things and talk about it tête-frête, talk about it intellectually, talk about it in a way that is deeper, that isn't conspiratorial. We stick to the facts, and we try to improve our perspective, and we try to improve our understanding of the path forward. And so the folks who come and watch, I appreciate you. and this is what we do here. I do hope you subscribe. I hope you do like. I hope you do share these videos. And we're gonna keep on pushing. And even though family issues are keeping me out of the country for right now, just know the mission continues. Just know we have a team in Haiti that's still doing great work, and we appreciate you. You know, per usual, just know that before we leave here, just know that if you if you want to continue to support what we have going on here, everything you see behind us here, Simple Haitian, these are products that come straight out of Haiti, from the jonjon to the cassava to the gishela to the boule de chocolat. You know, all these things are things that come direct out of Haiti, and we're selling them, available to you right now on Amazon. Right, I'll drop the link there for you guys. Do check that out. Buy something for the family. Buy something for the for yourself. And just know what you're doing. You're doing the right thing, which is providing an economic vehicle. Because everybody we work here, we're buying from. They're producers in Haiti, they're farmers in Haiti, and the money goes to them, right? And when it comes time to repurchase, when it comes time to buy, they're benefiting. And so something we're going to keep doing, keep expanding, because at the end of the day, I'm not a mediaist. I am someone who is more. I'm involved in doing the change, not just reporting on the change, right? And I'm glad to build a community of other doers. And so if the feeling so inclines you, when the paycheck hits, buy something, enjoy it, consume it. We do have a book out as well, because we only meet once a week nowadays. I do want that what we do here, that conversation to continue. So do buy the book, 101 Ways to Make Money in Haiti, lucrative business ideas, insightful success stories, and interesting business opportunities for visionary entrepreneurs. Do go ahead and check that book out. I wrote it for you guys. Everything I know, everything I've learned from other people are also in that book there. And of course, the private WhatsApp group, feel free, consider becoming, it's our Patreon. It's a way to support what we got going on. And I'm in there. A lot of 30, 40 very productive, positive people are in there. We're here to support each other and support ourselves and whatever it is that we're trying to do, maybe on the educational realm, maybe on the business realm, maybe on the healthcare realm. It's a space for those conversations and those connections to happen. And on top of that, you're supporting what we got going on here, supporting the SeeJeanty Media and the team we have here and the work we got going on. So it's a win-win, a purposeful win-win, right? So do go ahead and check that out. And finally, hybrid distribution. Hybrid distribution is really a community company, I want to say, because we raised 6 figures worth of investments from the community, and we're quite frankly, I'll just say it. I can't. Why hide it? We're a multi-million dollar, because we're going to cross over the single million, and we're going to go into a second million in revenue here. Before I feel strongly before the end of the year. So I can say we are a multi-million dollar organization focused on exporting products out of Haiti, right? Food and beverage products, agricultural products out of Haiti. Some of what you see here are some of those things coming out. And that's the website. And if you're interested in learning more about hybrid distribution, we're not accepting investments, by the way. We're good. We make enough revenue to reinvest in ourselves. So we're good. But if you want to become a wholesaler, plug into the network, you know what I mean, or just see the products we're selling and you want to buy just a few products for yourself, feel free and do so. The website will tell you how to do that, right? But yeah, that's the show. We'll be back, God willing, next Sunday with more to talk about. Okay. Love you. Appreciate you. We'll be back at it again. Peace.